When Bob and I were planning on location scouting and stuff, you know, a friend of mine had called me up, he's a location manager, and he said, you know, you can go to the boiler room where they shot the original Nightmare on Elm Street. And I was like, that's the deal.
Well, originally we wanted to go back to where the original was shot. It was in a jail, the Lincoln Heights jail, and Chris and I went up there and we scouted the original location. And it had problems with asbestos. Now, you know, those are all bad things now. So we elected to find a place that would be a lot safer, and but still give us that feeling that he required in this teaser.
We began scouting further, and we found this amazing World War II merchant ship called the Lane Victory. It's in the San Pedro Harbor, and the engine room in that thing was just what the doctor ordered. And I walked in there, and it almost took my breath away. So Bob, you know, began the process of figuring out how that was going to happen.
Well, what's interesting, of course, is that having to shoot on the ship meant that we needed to get a permit to shoot in Los Angeles. We also needed a permit to shoot in Long Beach, and we also needed a permit to shoot on the ship because it was on the water. And any one of those things it has a little bit of paperwork to deal with. So 3 of them, you know, we really had our hands full, and because it was it wasn't any different. We could have been shooting there for 30 days or just 1 day. The paperwork is all the same.
We had people showing up at the boat starting anywhere from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Once we had all the little pieces, you know, it came to the day, it came to the shoot. And I'll tell you, there's nothing more exciting and more anxiety-inducing than being on the precipice of that day. You know, for me, it starts off with the makeup people in the morning, and you know, they sort of set the tone for how the day is going to go.
Applying the makeup on Chris was actually extremely easy, oddly enough. Chris fell asleep in the chair, and there's nothing easier than putting makeup on someone that's asleep. We actually put a C-stand with a pillow behind him so he could lean his head back.
Okay, great. So we'll tweak a little bit more, but this is going to be that's your first setup. So when you're ready.
Okay.
So after we're done with you, we're going to do girl.
We're going to do her interaction with me in that scenario.
Great. I'm lighting up that area.
Yeah,
now.
that area.
Yes.
Okay. And then she runs off, I presume.
Right, and we talked about the tracking thing. Yes.
And then we get some multiple pursuit shots of me. Remember, we were talking about that general area where you can get a diversity of stuff, sort of centralized.
Yeah.
So if there's a place there where, like, there's this, maybe it's in the center of the thing where you've got a 360, you go over there, come this way, look, and we'll go left. And
so what we should do is we should do all Crispy Freddy. We should do what we can with the girl. Then let's go look at that issue, and then if you want to, this one, and then that's probably another lighting area. Because right now we've lit for like 2.5 areas kind of now, and we've been shooting those, and then we'll have to go light another area, but yes, we can certainly work on that. Okay, good. So a good start.
Cool. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, man.
So once we got the cowl on, that was pretty easy because it was one big piece, and then we were just able to get the other small ancillary pieces on. The total time to do the application, I totally forgot because we were trying to get it done as quickly as possible so we can get them on set, but I think it took us a little over an hour, hour and a half, hour, 45 minutes, I want to think.
This is such an arduous process to endure, first of all, the makeup process. Aaron and Glenn, they carried me through it. I've been through it before, but to feel, cared about and pampered, it's a good way to start the day.
There were 2 body suit pieces. The leg portion actually had an entire leg piece and it laced up from behind. The upper body portion consisted of an arm piece and an actual body back piece. Both of those had lights wired into them as well. Once we got him in the bodysuit, we then had to get him into the Freddy Krueger wardrobe, which was very elaborate as well. The sweater had lights in it, even down to the hat. The hat was also made to look like it had been singed and burned, and strategically in certain areas.
We need to go. Bob, we're coming out. Walking in. You got the script, Ren?
You want to?
And then you move in and you're working with the cameraman, AJ, and his whole crew. And they bring their bag of magic and their bag of tricks, and they make this stuff happen that you're looking around, you're going, my God, this is a multi-million-dollar production. I mean, it's not, but you feel it. And it's because of their spirit and their expertise and what they're willing to contribute.
I'm going to go over there and start lighting that, but that means I have to break this lighting setup and I'll have to relight it again later.
At the beginning of the day, I started working with Sarah Carmen, who is Nancy. You know, she's the survivor that pulls us through this story and overcomes this great evil that's Freddy. And her enthusiasm and willingness to not only be in this rugged environment, but to go to the end of the earth to make this cell, to work at this and work hard at it over and over and over. It was just a wonderful experience. I can't say enough good things about her.
I'm gonna make your blood boil.
Okay, one more time while we're into it. Okay.
Keep rolling.
Here we go. Ready, and...
Let's see what's coming. We're coming here.
Yes.
Okay.
And ready, and action.
I'm gonna make your blood boil.
That's all. Got it.
Got it? Moving on.
Got all that.
All right.
Now we do coverage.
I've had other acting experiences where I've had to have tense situations with people I'm working with, and you know, we've all gone and had lunch and laughed a lot, but they were never in monster makeup and all of that. Honestly, once we got on that set, it was not difficult to get into that other mindset of being terrified and knowing that, you know, my life was in danger.
48, yes.
All right, quiet.
Okay, here we go. So, suffering from the burn. Okay, ready, and wrench.
Once I was out of makeup, we got upstairs into the morgue scene, and I had a chance to work with this amazing veteran character actor, Don Lanning.
We went up to go ahead and do the shots, and it was so cramped. Do they get us in there? And Chris is in there, and he's giving me my cues, and we're going over it. Jesus, the claustrophobia. I'm actually claustrophobic. My name is Don Lanning. I play the pathologist. This is one of those great things where Chris saw my look or saw me working on something and said, "Oh, that guy's got the look." I did a reading for him, and I was terrible. So I got the part. No, I was horrible. But I told him that I wanted to be part of this and that I'd get it together. And I think we probably did it 5 or 6, 10 times, 15 times. And sure enough, the 50th time we did it, it was like gold. It was like magic.
For me, the trailer is paced in such a way that there are certain key moments that need to be anchors. So we're going from action and we're showing all this intensity and this ripped off the table and this Freddy with the glove, and then suddenly we're going to bring it into this intense close-up of this guy. It's just, it's all done. And what he has to do is he has to set the tone. He has to let you know the intensity, the importance, and set you up for the rest of the journey. And we got up there on set. At the end of the day, we're both, I mean, I'm exhausted, and he's, you know, in this tight little space, and there's cameras and lights. It was very claustrophobic, and very difficult actually in this instance to tune it out, because really, when you're this close, you can't move, you can't, you know, it's like you've got to be stationary and tense, and thank God for me. You know, he really brought his A game to that, and just again, along with Sarah, just kept at it until we got it.
To see that image of Freddy Krueger back, but not just the way he was, but back times 10. Deep wounds, chars coming out of his mouth, the lights, all this stuff, the burning blades, insane, wonderful.
Equally important to editing and the pacing and the performance is the visual effects.
Something like Chris's Nightmare project had to do very specific things like the knives and the furnace and those kinds of signature sounds.
The compensation on something like this is the reward of seeing people who are into the craft, applying their craft.